Big good one here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Help promote and rank up my channel. It only takes a second to click, to click like and subscribe, and you help me out tremendously. As a small YouTube channel, very hard to get out there, get promoted up. Any clicks, likes, comments, interactions are absolutely great. They tremendously help out the channel. With that said though, we're back to review Superman and Lois episode 2. I don't know how long I'll actually keep this up, maybe weekly for the entire run. If it ever gets too watered down though, with like teen angst, woke dialogue, and storylines, or wacky CW-like antics in the fashion of other CW/DC superhero shows, I'll probably drop it. Not that they're horrible or unwatchable, but they do get worse as they go along, I feel. I mean, some of the stuff really stands out, and some of it's really great. They have their shining moments, and some of them I do actually think are just flat out awful in comparison to others. But so, as it stands right now, this show continues to impress. It is slow-paced, not very comedic, which some could consider dull or a bore. But so far, I'm actually enjoying the classic style, the wholesome Superman of small-town American and family values. Really enjoying it. So, let's talk about the episode's plot and subplots. Spoiler warning ahead, I can't really do TV shows without spoilers. I'll be vague. Well, I can't really be vague either, but I'll just highlight like the positives, negatives. I won't drag this out where it's longer than the episode either. This review is going to be short. Let's get into it. So the Kents move to Smallville to be closer as a family and figure out their situation. They keep the younger one out of school since he has abrupt temper tantrums. To top that off, he's got powers. Clark and him try to diagnose the scale and scope of his powers, of Jordan's powers. Meanwhile, the other son, Jonathan, is getting the shaft and handling it like a champ, I gotta say, with perseverance and integrity. Doesn't get the playbook, takes some consequences for his brother's action on the field in football practice. You've got Lois confronting Morgan Edge and getting on the bad side of Lana's husband, finding her new role. Then there's Superman and General Lane tracking and facing off against the armored mystery man we know is Lex Luthor from another Earth. With that said,
it's a lot to absorb, you know.
The positives. The positive, seeing Clark bond with his son over the potential of him having the same powers. I really enjoyed how this turned around, how Jordan really started to come into this and feel good about himself. Seeing the Fortress of Solitude too, a major upgrade from like the other Supergirl show, which I wasn't like an avid watcher of. I could barely watch that show. I'm sorry for those of you that absolutely enjoy it, but I could barely watch that show. It was so hard for me to. So, going to the Fortress of Solitude, learning his heritage, this was a refreshing breath of like crisp, cold air, the same kind of air you'd breathe right there at the Fortress of Solitude. I really enjoyed that stuff. One of my negatives was the lack of story. One of my negatives from the last episode was the lack of story for Lois Lane in the premiere episode. They quickly turned that around though. This episode gives us some classic Lois confronting big wigs despite the heat, backlash to brave and bold just aspects of Lois. We now have a clear direction and focus for Lois.
Your whole life's in Metropolis. Your girlfriend's there. Your entire identity is
Jonathan. The way he handles things, the way his character is written and portrayed, really liking that. I'm really liking it. General Lane too, the casting, the scenes with him, all great. And the Lex Luthor, that story of him, what Superman did on his world, the lingering psychological effects. I was surprised by his interaction with General Lane, because up to that moment, you'd think that this guy is just a cold-blooded killer that is going to waste everybody that's in his way. But I was surprised by this interaction with General Lane because, he left him breathing. Granted, Superman did interrupt, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and he would have killed him if he couldn't talk him into, falling into his narrative. So, someone like Superman, like General Lane, they had some great shots in here, some great scenes. Maybe there's a little bit more here to Lex Luthor, too, than some one-dimensional villain, but Superman did interrupt him, so it's not to say maybe he would have killed General Lane if General Lane wouldn't agreed with him. Maybe he would have just killed him there on the spot. But that remains to be seen. I guess we'll have to see going forward. Scenes I enjoyed, the brother calling his brother out for acting like a baby. Jonathan calling Jordan out for acting like a baby. That I really needed that in that moment because that dude was starting to bother me. Lois leaving the Daily Planet in the fashion that she did, enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. Keeping her integrity, not just staying with the paper just for... And you hear the guy talking about clicks and likes and stuff. So, the brothers bonding too, those conversations that help each other out, I really enjoyed that conversation between Jonathan and Jordan.
Really, I don't care what some stupid hologram said. You're my twin brother, I know you better than anyone. You're different now.
They got upset with each other, but they kind of, mended that, and that was really enjoyable to see. Him telling his brother he is special to him. Yeah, I really don't think that it's just going to be what this episode labeled it as the hologram told him that he'll never reach Superman's power. Or I really don't believe that he won't get a bit more scaled up in power and come into his own a bit more. Will never be as powerful as Superman. I don't doubt that, but I do think he can be pretty powerful. And for fuck's sake, the cinematography, the shots, the lighting, the atmosphere, it is above and beyond. A shot of Superman with the American flag behind him, the way that was in General Lane's office, that was fucking awesome. That was amazing. A shot of black suit Superman mowing down soldiers in a trench in brutal fashion, that was epic. That was epic. So the negatives on this one, and it's really not much. It's really not. Compared to other shows I could review and say, oh, that's so damn awful. Like, you need to scrap 41 minutes of a 45-minute episode and just redo the whole damn thing. There's not many negatives in this. One of the things, and this isn't per se a negative of the show, it's just something I'm kind of getting the feel and vibe of. I'm kind of detecting a love triangle being set up here, which would be cliche teen angst, typical CW stuff that feels like it's mandatory with every damn show they do. Please don't do it. But it felt like they were bonding and taking a shine to each other. It's like Jonathan was trying to avoid looking directly at her while Jordan was there, and you could see Jordan, the way he's looking at them every time they talk to each other, and she isn't directly talking to Jordan, she's instead talking. I just felt like this is going to lead into that cliche CW love triangle crap that we really don't need. Another one of my negative is Jordan's I hate life, give up on everything mentality. It feels dialed up to 10. I mean, it's established within his character to make sense within his character, but I hope they tone it down a bit. Other than that, it was a pretty great episode, but this guy just like throwing where his brother's got to call him a baby because it does feel like it's dialed up to 10. He just instantly goes from being happy to this is devastating. And I get it. You want to be like your dad. You want to have that kind of power. You've been bonding over him, learning more about him through this kind of stuff, and it feels like it's really, really establishing a firm, strong family dynamic that this family hasn't really had before. So I get why he would be devastated. I get that the characters always had temper tantrums, so it does make sense. I'm just saying, can we dial it down a bit, because it does feel like CW. That, to be fair, in other CW shows, you've got full-grown adults dialed up to 10, just losing their shit over things that don't make sense to lose your crap over. Predictions! I think an obvious CW love triangle is underway due to the scenes with Jonathan, Sarah, and Jordan. Something that will further push Jordan to the outside. I think Jonathan Kent will eventually be brought to the Fortress of Solitude, where it'll actually be revealed that he's got more capability and potential to be like his father, and that will negatively impact him being allowed to play sports. Jordan will resent his brother, and Jonathan will resent his powers, and Jordan will gradually go on a slippery slope into a more negative direction. You'll see more outbursts, more teen angst, more CW drama. And I don't know if they'll go full on villain with one of them, but if they do, and I tend to think they will, and I tend to think that they'll likely more so go that route with Jordan than anyone else. Moving on to General Lane. This interaction with General Lane and Lex Luthor, I think it's going to lead to more, and I think that there's a chance General Lane could be swayed against Superman or maybe his son. Now, it's a tough call, but in order for him to get that push, he needs to seek more information from that version of Lex Luthor, and he needs to actually witness what alternate Superman is capable of, what he did. I don't think General Lane will full-on turn on Superman, but I think as the sun goes into a negative direction, Jordan, that he could become a potential threat, and General Lane would want to take him down in the fashion that's kind of what I'm getting here. I could be dead wrong. Now, he could go full on against Superman. And it'd be even bit difficult for him to just go full on against his grandson. But if his grandson starts to get out of control, and it's through rage and anger, those abrupt fits that cause extraordinary amounts of damage but allow him to harness those abilities better, this could go that direction. So I'd expect a lot of development from this scene that happened here between General Lane and Lex Luthor. I expect more development and follow through on that, just to see that it's a seed planted that's gonna grow into a big ass tree, and I'm not sure what the outcome's gonna be, but I could speculate all day. Like, subscribe, share, predictions. Did you like the episode? Did you hate it? Stay awesome.